right? The first thing you think about is relaxation. Okay, first thing is not to think about how to get into a good posture. Because when you start with a good posture, your body likely going to be more stiff, right? Because San Ti stance is not like such stance where it's more relaxed. San Ti stance requires a lot of strength to hold that posture, right? So if you start with, let me get into a good posture, right? Everything requires a lot of strength to start with. So you're not going to relax. So what you need to do first, you see? Yeah, you start with just a stand-up posture, right? And calm your mind, start coordinate your breath, okay, with your mind and with your posture. And then once you get into a rhythm, then you gradually settle into a good posture. Yes, so again. Another thing is when you should feel like you're sitting, okay? But at the same time, you should not feel like you're sitting, okay? So you feel like you're about to sit, but you're not going to sit on there. Yeah, when you just going to sit down there on the invisible chair, it means that all your weight is locked in, right? That's how you sit, because once you sit on the chair, all your weight is there, right? So which means that, you know, when you're doing stance, you don't want to put all your weight in one spot. Okay, so you are feeling like you're about to sit, but there's no chair, so you cannot sit down there. So your weight is adjustable. Yeah, your weight is not completely locked into this area, to your hip area. And also, you don't want to go back too much, right? You see how you're going back like this, and now it becomes a issue that your posture is locked.
Yeah.
Okay, your posture has to be flexible. Right, last time I was talking about a wall. The harder the wall, the less flexible it is, which means that you have no room to maneuver. Right, your structure has to be flexible so that when I'm here, okay, I'm able to adjust. But you don't want to, you know, keep on adjusting yourself, right? That's not the goal of stance training, okay? But you need to be able to adjust, like subtle adjustments if necessary. So which means this, the front leg need to have some weight too, right? Not completely in the back. And you need to feel, right? First you need to close. Okay, you need to feel your knees are attached by a rubber band. So in between the two knees, you feel like there's something there, okay, that's elastic, right? There's some force there. And then gradually you want to open the space a little bit. So there's not just force pulling in, but there's also force pushing it out. If you're all the way back, then here has no force pushing it out or forward, right? You want to feel that even if your weight looks like on the outside is in the back, but it's not completely in the back. There's still something here in the front.
That will make it easier for my back leg to hold the pose. I have so much weight that it's like very challenging,
right?
Very hard to relax.
And then it becomes you're doing physical exercise.
It feels muscular.
Yeah, and so your breath wouldn't be able to coordinate properly, right? You need to first focus on the mind and the breath connection. right? And the body is just creating the condition for the mind and for the breath to coordinate, right? And once you do that, then you can gradually, making your posture better and better while your mind and your breath still coordinated. Okay? Yeah. And then, get into that stance. Yeah, another thing you need to understand is that a posture, a stance, okay, is just there to help the inside to work. So which means, where your hand supposed to be this hand, your body weight and everything, your feet, your legs, where they're supposed to be, there's no one correct way to do it. Okay, it really, you can have, two people and they do it differently as long as the inside is working correctly. So what matters more over time is the inside, the breath and the mind and the connection of the two, and with your center, right? With your dantian, that's important. Yeah, relax here, relax here. If you go too low, you wouldn't be able to relax those areas. So to get lower, now here's the contradiction, right? You don't want to lock your shoulders, you don't want to lock your hip, okay? Which means you cannot go too low, right? If you go too low, everything is locked, and then it's no good, okay? But then the thing is, for you to unlock those areas also requires you have a lot of strength, right? You cannot keep those areas unlocked without having a lot of strength, which means to build the strength, you have to go lower. Okay, but if you go lower, you're going to feel locked in those areas, like here, right? If I go low, I feel very locked. Okay.
Do you recommend building the strength through other techniques, or do you recommend getting lower in the stance to start?
Okay, so to me, to build that strength requires a gradual process.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cannot build the strength right away, like just doing weight training, right? Lifting a dumbbell, right? You cannot go from, no weight training experience to like 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, right? You have to start light, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and gradually add up the weight. Same here, right? You start higher, and then you feel that this posture is good for you, that you're not locked, and then you gradually go lower, add a little bit more body weight to it, and see how it feels. If it feels locked, okay, but you don't feel like it's completely locked, then it means that you can stay in this posture for some time. And then once you stay in this posture for some time and build more strength, that tension would reduce. You were gradually able to release that tension with your body naturally. Okay, so then next time you get into that posture, you feel like, okay, it doesn't feel so locked anymore. And then once you're comfortable with that, then you can go lower. Yeah, if you go too low, you will feel completely locked, and that's not a good position to be in. But you need to be in a position where you feel slightly locked, but not completely locked, and you stay there for some time. Allow your body to naturally adjust itself so that you feel that the tension is getting released over time. And then so that you can go lower, add more body weight to it. Yes. Okay.
So start from the top, lowering down.
Yeah.
And feel that point where it's the proper weight, but not locking to the point where you almost have too much tension to work with.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's San Ti stance.
with my knees, is it really a focus point of bringing them together in the beginning to create that connection?
In the very beginning, once you start, it should be relaxed.
Okay.
Right, and then gradually, because for your body to close off and not feeling locked, it means that there has to be force on the inside pulling your body in. If you don't have that force to start with, it means you're just physically trying to close everything off, which means that you're going to generate a lot of unnecessary tension. Right? So your body is closed off, okay, because the force on the inside is pulling you in. So from your dantian, from your center, right? Your dantian is your center of gravity, right? If this area has no force, then there's no force to pull your body in. Okay, then you're just physically closing yourself, right? And restricting the circulation, and then making your body, creating more tension in your body, unnecessary tension, right? And then so that's why you start with mind, breath, coordinate, right? Just breathe in, slowly breathe out, slowly, and allow the mind to focus on this process of inhale and exhale, right? Not force. Not the mind forcing the breath to work. The breath is working, the mind has to first generate the intention that the breath has to slow down in this posture. Okay, if there's no mind, there's no intention, then you shouldn't be doing anything. There's no point to even be doing anything. The reason that you are doing something because the mind is functioning and the mind is able to generate intention. So your mind is not forcing the process of the breath, but your mind generates the initial intention that tells the breath to slow down and to coordinate with the body, with the mind, right? So the intention itself is not very strong intention. It's not controlling the process, but guiding it, becoming aware of the process, directing the process, right? Tell the breath to start working slowly, right? And then the breath start working slowly. And then just follow the process. The mind then follows the process after it gives the initial instruction to start the process. And then the breath, first it goes to your lungs and then comes out. Breathe into your lungs and then comes out. And then gradually over time, not by force, gradually you get the breath to go down deeper, right? From chest, lungs, to upper abdominal area, and then gradually get deeper, right? The breath is able to reach down to the lower abdominal area, and then breathe out. Yeah, don't use a lot of force, just gradually. Yeah, because you put too much force, it's not good for your organs on the inside. Okay, stop. Right, so your mind creates the instruction to allow the breath to slow down and to go down and up, and then the mind become aware, observe the process. But the mind is not really connected to the body at this point, because your mind is observing the breath, the movement of the breath going down and up. Okay, but it's already better than not focusing on it, because if you're not focusing on it, your mind is not, your mind is not connected at all to the body. Okay, but if to really connect the mind, you have to be able to develop the lower energy center, the lower dantian. If the lower dantian is not developed, the mind is not able to really, connect with the inside of the body. Because you can observe anything, right? You can, sit by the water and observe the flow of the water, right? So your eyes can see it, and then your brain captures, right, through your eyes, the movements of the water, and then it just focus on it. But that's not really like deep connection. Okay, deep connection requires also mechanical connection, right? Meaning that it's not imagination. I'm not imagining, okay, my mind is observing the process, connecting to it, and now the mind is fully connected. No, because there's no mechanical process, right? It just, you're trying to connect and you're trying to observe, okay? Yeah, this is where the deeper connection is taking place, when it is taking place, right? Without this center of gravity, your mind is floating, right? Only center of gravity is able to pull the mind down, keep the mind grounded, right? Without center of gravity, the mind be floating. Without the Earth's center of gravity will be floating, right? So center of gravity is energetic, but also it's a mechanical process, right? The center has to be able to create waves, right? You need to have weight, and you need to create waves with the weight, and so which allows the body to pull the mind down, right? Keep it grounded so that it keeps on observing the process with clarity. Okay, and that's going to take time. You have to first focus on the breath. Gradually get the breath lower from your lungs to upper abdominal area, and then to the middle of your abdominal area, and then to the lower of your abdominal area, right? Creating this mechanical process.